Hi guys, good morning, good afternoon, good evening, whatever time of the day it is that you decide to watch this video. I'm back again, I'm walking and I'm talking about Tottenham. I took a day off yesterday from walking. My leg was playing me up something terrible, so I thought I'd give it a rest for a day, and so far so good, touch wood. Everything seems to be fairly good so far. Been walking for about 10 minutes already, but I'm actually walking to my daughter's for a barbecue, so having a bit of a long old stretch today. So this might be a bit of a long video, and if it is, apologies for those that only like to watch it whilst they're having a poo. Mr. Kent, mentioning no other names, but most people do, don't they? Sit and have a poo, watch a video, like a nice short one. Anyway, that's a bit too much information, really. Last video I said, give me some ideas, what do you want me to talk about? Because I don't want to bore everybody, but I'd like something to kind of think about or talk about. So Mark said to me in the comments, why don't you talk about transfers? Who do you want in that's going to strengthen us for the next season? So I'm going to be absolutely honest. I am not the man for transfer talk, rumours and detail about specific players. Best person for that is a guy called Matty Hayes, who does loads of videos with lots of different channels. I think you can catch him on We Are Tottenham TV, and with the Irish Hotspur, but really knowledgeable guy, does some good stuff. He's all over Twitter, so if you've not seen him, worth checking him out. I'll put a link in the comments to his channel if I can work out that technology. I'll do that. But I obviously do have opinions, not necessarily about players, but I'm quite happy to share my opinion on positions and maybe like who should be kind of moving on, moving out, and that kind of stuff. So I'm happy to do that, and I hope that's okay. If it's not, turn off now, move on, go and find something better to watch than me waffling while I'm walking along. So I guess the first thing to think about has got to be to start right from the beginning, right at the back, goalkeeper. So we already know that Tottenham are going to announce Fraser Forster as a backup for Hugo Lloris. So you've got to be clear, Hugo is still one of the best goalkeepers around, certainly one of the best goalkeepers we've had in the Premier League, and I don't think that we are in a position to be able to change that. He's got to be up there with with pretty much the best. Now he has got problems, don't get me wrong, I've called it out for a very, very long time. His kicking is terrible. He doesn't have a right foot. He puts us under pressure a lot of times. And he doesn't come out as much as he used to. He used to actually come out quite a lot and be a real quality sweeper keeper. He don't tend to do that so much now, and that bothers me because I think a lot of top goalkeepers close down the space really quickly. They can use both feet and are skillful players as well as just shot stoppers. But I don't think that we are in a position to go out and strengthen further, and I think that's already been shown. Forrester is coming in. Now I don't know an awful lot about him. I know he gets a bit of stick for time wasting when we play Southampton and stuff, but you know that's about it. But is he a step up from Galini? I think he probably is. You know, he's Premier League proven. You know, he's worked there for a while, so I think he's got a little bit more to offer than maybe Galini has. Although, to be fair to him, we didn't see an awful lot of him during the season at all. So whether he could really have proved himself, I don't know. The times I've seen him play, I was worried about him. So that's fairly clear on where we are from that perspective. So we know what's happening with that. Then I guess it's worth then looking at the back four. Okay. I think this back four has really improved under Conte. I think they've done pretty well. They've seemed to have pulled it together and done all right for us. But my biggest concern around it is probably around the depth. Have we got the depth with those guys? And I think that's probably where we need to look. We've got. I'm just waiting to cross the road because I don't want to get myself knocked over. It's quite a big road, So we've got Romero, who I think is a Rolls Royce of a player. I think he's absolutely fantastic, and I think he's going to be in that first team all the way through. Eric Dyer. Now this is a real difficult one because Eric's done really well this season. I think it's fairly clear to say he's had a good season. He's done well. But is he the finished article? Is he the player that we really want long term to be filling that role? I think we need a replacement in there. I think for me, Eric is a squad, a strengthened type of player. I think he strengthens our squad. I wouldn't get rid of him, but I think we need an upgrade. Sanchez has come on. I think he's had a few good games at the end of the season, but we haven't seen enough of him to consider whether he's really going to be a quality centre back for us. And playing alongside Romero, I'll be quite happy. Playing alongside Dyer, whilst he did really well in those last few games, it does still worry me a little bit. It still feels really shaky. Feels like we need an upgrade in that position. So, not a priority for me. I wouldn't have said so anyway. No, definitely not the top of the list of things that need to be replaced. But I think it's somewhere we need to be looking. So then we go left back. So we already know we've got Perisic has come in for that position, along with Sessegnon, and currently we have Reguilon. I think we all agree Reguilon's probably going. He's not really going to be with us much longer, we don't think. So, if that's the case, I'm still quite happy. I think Sess is a good prospect, good young player, lots of pace. He's good defensively, better than Reguilon defensively. My biggest concern with him is believing in himself to be able to take on that player and get the crosses in, because when he gets a cross in, something seems to happen. We seem to, get a goal or have a good attack. So I think if he needs to believe in himself a little bit more, he needs to go, you know what, I'm going to beat this man. I'm going to put that ball in. I'm going for it. And I think if he did that, I think he's a good second to Perisic, who I think he can probably learn a lot from. And I know there's people talking about that being the reason why he's come and all the rest of it. I don't believe that. I believe he's come because they think he's the best player in that position, and he's going to take us to a more solid level. That's what I think. So that moves us on to right back. So right back wise, we currently have Doherty and Emerson. Now that's a worry. I don't think those two are good enough. I really think we need to do something about that position. I think we need to bring somebody in. Whether Emerson can improve, I don't know. Doherty seemed to have a good spell coming up quite close to the end of the season till he got his injury. But a couple of games is not really enough. And to be fair, when he came into the squad, he did start off quite well before they brought Serge Aurier in. And for me, it's always seemed to be struggling to get any kind of consistency in his play. So definitely need someone for right back. But out of Emerson and Doherty, who goes, I would guess you're more likely to lose Emerson than you are Doherty, because I think with Emerson he's a right back rather than a right wing back, So the likelihood is he's more suited to other teams who will play in that position and give him the position that he kind of wants to play rather than the position we're expecting him to play. Yeah. Centre of the park. That for me is my worry area, if I'm being really, really truthful. Højbjerg, I think he's decent player, done well, he's been consistent, gets a fair bit of hate from time to time, but I'm not sure why, because I think he does a solid job. And you've got Bentancur, of course. My biggest concern about it is, what happens if either of those two are not playing? You know, where's the backup, where's the depth? And so, you know, we've got Skip to come back, which is great. I think he's a real good player, but he's just one player, and I don't think that's enough. I think we need more than that. I think we need more than that coming in. I definitely think that we need someone of a creative nature. So when people were talking about Ericsson and people of that nature, I think that makes sense to me, to kind of get someone like that who's going to come in and give you that little bit extra, a little bit of creativity to unlock things. I think that's an area of focus, absolutely. You need something a little bit different. You know, you've got Højbjerg who can break the play up and do the dirty, and Bentancur who can, you know, he can thread a pass and all the rest of it, but he hasn't got that magic, a little bit of magic that you need. Sometimes you need something different in there, and so for me I think it's about options. I mean, I'm not saying that Bentancur ain't no good and Højbjerg and all the rest of it, but what I do think is we need something a little bit different when it really comes to it. I don't think we've got that in our locker as it stands. The front three, I think, is, you know, one of the best out there. You know, you've got Kane, you've got Son. Don't think I even need to comment about them two, do I? And now you've got Kulusevski, who's just getting better and better. I think absolute quality player. But I do think, again, it's about not so much about the first team, but about the backup, about what comes next. You know, or how do you change things if you need to? Because not every team is going to come at you and, you know, get them on the counter, which has been our game with those players in those sorts of positions. So you need someone who's going to be able to, you know, do something a little bit different and, you know, change the shape, change the game. So, and I do think, you know, every so often, players like Son and Kane and Kulusevski, they're going to get injuries. So where's the depth coming for them? Who's going to fill in those positions when you really, really need them to, you know? So this is definitely some work to do around that. I'm just looking because I'm a bit lost. I don't really know where I'm going. I'm just following the path, and it's probably not the best idea. Anyway, so yeah. So it's the likes of people like Bergwijn, who we think is going, which I think is a shame because I think he's a good player. I think he would be a good squad player, and I think he would get more minutes in the new season coming up than he's had. I do think that, but clearly he wants to play regular first team football, and who can blame him? You know, he's a young lad. You know, he wants to be a regular for Holland. And, you know, he wants to win trophies and stuff. So I can understand why he wouldn't want to just sit on the bench at Tottenham. But I do think he would get better times. Lucas, as much as the hero he's been in the past, he's so inconsistent in terms of when do we see the best of him. He doesn't play regular enough to really make an impact. And I think the best thing to come out of that whole situation with him is the fact that when Nuno took him off against Man United and the crowd started singing, "You don't know what you're doing," because he was our best player on the day. I think that's probably been his best contribution this year. Just gone. Yeah, so just going through it. Goalkeeper, I think we're covered. Left back, I think we're covered. Central defence, I think we need to strengthen. I think we need someone in there. I don't really see Sanchez as the answer, and I think we need a backup to cover for someone like Dyer, because I think whilst he's been good, he's not the finished article. He's not, would he walk into any other top four side? I don't think so. So we need something in there. Central midfield, definitely something in there, something different, something a bit more creative, because I think what we're doing at the moment just isn't enough to change the game if you really need to, because I think there have been, and it's been shown, times when we really needed to change the game, really needed to do something different, and we didn't have that opportunity. And I think that's a worry, that if you haven't got that opportunity, you're kind of stuck looking at the same things. And whilst I think it's great to have Skip coming up and coming along, he's been out a long time, and he's still a young lad. Is he really the answer? I don't really think he is. Not yet. He could be. He could do some good stuff for us. But I think we need more. We definitely need more in that area. And like I say, someone like an Ericsson, who's got a little bit more, flair in his locker, I think that would be very good. I'm not necessarily saying Ericsson's the man, because, whilst I love him for what he did for Tottenham when he was really playing, towards the end he'd given up the ghost, and when he'd given up the ghost, it really noticed and we really struggled. So, if he's coming back to Tottenham, he's got to really want to come back to Tottenham. Does he really want to come back to Tottenham or not? So, yeah, and striker-wise, like I say, it'd be great to have a backup to Kane and Son. I don't think it's going to be Bergwijn. I think he's going to want to go. So we need to be looking at what else can we get, who's out there, because we definitely need a striker. We definitely need an opportunity to be able to go, to a two up top if we needed to, which I don't think we've got the opportunity to do now. So, yeah. So that's my thoughts. Mark, I'm sorry that's not really giving you what you wanted, as in names and stuff, but it gives you an idea about where my thinking is. So I hope that's okay. Please give me some more ideas of anything else that you want me to kind of mention, to talk about, give an opinion on. I'm happy to do that. I'll leave it there and give you some time back. Thanks for watching. Up the Spurs.